Very interesting from Maurizio Sarri, the Chelsea manager, ahead of the game tomorrow lunchtime against Manchester United. How are Chelsea fans with Jose Mourinho now? There was a bit of love for him when he first went back a couple of years ago, but I wonder if there is now. And actually, if he is going to park the bus, well, Sarri has thrown him under it already, because he's actually said that player for player, Manchester United are very strong. He kind of, the comparison was with, for some reason, he said, he mentioned Manchester City. So Sarri actually said this. I'll give you his quote. He said, "I think they're a very strong team, United. Maybe player by player, they are the best team in the league." Just think that through. Manchester United, he's saying, player for player, best team in the league. He says, at the moment, I think City is better as a team, but player by player, United are very, very strong. I don't know if they'll try to play their football. I mean, he's properly throwing Mourinho under a bus here, isn't he?
Well, I think he is, and I think he's exaggerating. I think the keepers are pretty even. If you look at Manchester City's fullbacks, they're probably better than what Manchester United have got. You look at the centre halves, they're better than what Manchester United have got. The midfield's better than what Manchester United have got, and the striker is better than what Manchester United got. I don't know where he's coming from. Manchester City, on paper, and the players have got are better than most of the Manchester United side. Come on, Ed, surely.
Well, he's saying player for player. If you look at the individuals, I'd love to throw that out there, because I think most people would look at Man City's, say, their centre halves, and given the fact that Company isn't always fit, they'd probably say, well, might be seen as a weak area. As a team, I think Man City are great. They've got some great individuals as well. But Manchester United, even if they aren't player for player better than Manchester City, and Sarri is wrong about that, they've got to be right up there. They've certainly got to be better, Darren, than 8th in the table and 3 defeats in 8 games.
Of course they are, but they're nowhere near Manchester City. The centre halves, look at the goals they've been conceding Manchester United. They've been all over the shops at times. He wanted to replace all of them, Mourinho, at the start of the season. He's not happy with them. The full-backs, people are talking about Valencia being a good servant to Manchester United. It's not been ideal. Luke Shaw now has just got a new contract. He looks like he's stepping back up to the player everybody thought he was going to be. But look at Manchester City with Mendy going forward. Kyle Walker, a fantastic player. Definitely improved Manchester City. Stones, Laporte, Company, Otamendi. I mean, how can this even compare Manchester City with Manchester United at this point?
Let's get your thoughts on that. Player for player, Man United, are they the best or even the second best team in the Premier League? 08717 22 We'll take your calls on that right now. United, by the way, have conceded more goals than Newcastle, who are second from bottom. And talking about those teams down at the bottom, Huddersfield Town have said, or rather Huddersfield Down, I'm going to call them from now on, because they're basically waving a white flag 8 games in. They haven't won a game. And they've said the manager is unsackable. Well, why is that? Why, if you can't win a game and if you're more than likely going to hurtle towards the championship, why wouldn't you give yourself the best chance to stay up and try a different approach? It's not a disrespectful thing to the current manager. What he did positively for the club, that's in the past. It's about where they're at now, isn't it?
It's a difficult one, this.
It's not really, is it?
Well, I think it is. I think he's actually done an unbelievable job. When he came into Huddersfield, they were on the verge of getting relegated from the Championship. Within a year, he turned it around. They got promoted to the Premier League. Without spending huge amounts of money, I think Huddersfield are doing okay. This year, obviously, they're not getting the points. Their biggest problem is that they haven't got a goal scorer. They just can't score a goal, especially at home. And that's their biggest issues. But let's not get carried away. This is Huddersfield Town. This is Huddersfield Town who've been out of the top flight for nearly 50 years, Aid. They're not suddenly just going to go in there and turn it on and be fantastic players. They haven't got the money that Wolves have got.
Well, we're going to talk about this at 5, and it affects other clubs as well, those who are reluctant to change managers based on what has happened before. Now, I look at Huddersfield and I think the football's awful. It's not entertaining. They're now resorting to dirty tricks and fouling players to try and get anywhere, try even get a point. It's not really what you want to see. When you've got that golden ticket at the Premier League, you've got to give something back. And if it means something as unpalatable as changing a manager has brought you huge success, then so be it. But apparently not. Huddersfield are accepting relegation already. We'll take your calls on that after 5. But right now, let's talk about this Maurizio Sarri thing. Player for player, United the best in the league. Is he right? 08717 22 Shaw, Mendy, De Gea, Edison. Closer than you think. Defence is the issue, but close, says Lewis. I'd have to say, after looking at those comparisons, City probably just a little bit more than edge it, Darren.
Yeah, I think so. Going through, I think defence edges it absolutely. I think the goalkeeper situation, you could go either way. Depends who's in the form. But the midfield, when you're talking De Bruyne and Silva, those two walk into it. If you think that who might be starting for Manchester United against Chelsea, it could be Fred, it could be Fellaini, it could be Pogba, who's not been great apparently. I think he's been better than a lot of people give him credit for. And up front, would you go Lukaku or Aguero? You go Aguero all day long.
Well, let's throw it out there. 08717 223344. Maurizio Sarri saying that player for player. He's fundamentally said today in the build-up to Chelsea Man United tomorrow, player for player, Man United the best in the league. What do you think? Let's speak to Jim in East London. What do you want to say, Jim?
Hello, Adrian. I think what it is, I think potentially the players at United are good enough to match anyone on their day, a lot of them. But I think the way that Mourinho gets them playing and the way he suppresses their attacking play, people like Sanchez who don't really seem to be getting the team, and Pogba. It just seems to be the way his tactics are and the way he suppresses them. It seems to make them to play the way they are at the moment.
I think that's a great point, Jim. And I think that Maurizio Sarri is not stupid. He'd know what he's saying, and he knows that by saying that the players at Man United are really good, even if you don't agree with him that they're the best in the league, Jim, by saying that player for player, he thinks they're the best in the league, he is making a comment about Mourinho, isn't he?
Sure. Well, it's all psychological. I mean, he's getting up to the game, and he's obviously playing mind games with Mourinho, with a lot of people, I suppose, with all us coming onto the radio. But I think he's got a point that potentially a lot of United players are there or thereabouts.
They are. What we know, Jim. Thanks for the call. What we know, Darren, is that the United players, whether we think they're the best in the league or not, player for player, but they are massively underachieving. Now, is that down? Is the question? Is that down to the players not being as good as some people say they are, or is it down to them not performing as a team? In which case, we have to question the manager, Jose Mourinho.
I would say so. I think not performing as a team has obviously got to be there. Pogba's a big part of that. Sanchez is a big part of that. Now, they're the two players I think he's saying but Sanchez and Pogba at their very best would get into most teams around the world, wouldn't they? Can we agree on that?
Yep.
I think that's what it comes to. I think that's what Sarri's saying. But when you look at that defence all the way around, especially the midfield, if you take Pogba out of it, how does that? That's not better than Chelsea's midfield of Jorginho, Kante and Barkley, is it? Fred and Fellaini, come on. Chelsea's got a better midfield than Manchester United at this moment in time. But when it goes back to Mourinho, going back to Chelsea, Ed, and I'm sure we touch it, I can't understand how Chelsea fans wouldn't respect Mourinho to the hill, wouldn't love him as a manager, and what he achieved at Chelsea, the trophies he won there, that from the first season in 2004-05, how can they not like him? How can they think, oh no, we've gone off him now? You know what I mean? We're all into someone else. He did a brilliant job at Chelsea. 3 trophies he got, 3 Premier League titles. How can they not love him?
Do you know what? It's a very interesting question because I thought it would have all died down. That this is the third year he's been away and he's going back yet again with Manchester United. So he's been there before. I think there's been some love for him before from Chelsea fans. It just makes me. You see, there was a problem between Conte and Mourinho. I remember Mourinho whispering in his ear at the end of the game, and I think that when all the stuff came out eventually about what happened with the doctor at Chelsea, then that may have affected how people felt because it took some time to come out. All of that. So I wonder if the view from Chelsea fans towards Mourinho has changed. I'm not thinking that they're going to boo him when he walks out of the tunnel tomorrow, but I don't think there'll be the kind of love that you might reserve for somebody who came along and won your first title in God knows how many decades. That will be somebody who'll be revered at the club for a long time. I'm not necessarily sure he's going to get that kind of love though.
Well, he should do. First title for 50 years it was in the top flight, a record all of 95 points in that first season, followed it up by retaining the title, winning an FA Cup and a League Cup twice. That's the first spell there. Came back again and guess what? First season he was third, 4 points just behind City, who had it all in place. Then he won the title in the League Cup the following year, and then we all know what happened with the doctor and everything else. I think he's been unbelievable for Chelsea as a manager, and he's the one who set that winning mentality and have continued it since Mourinho's days. So they have a lot to thank him for, by the way, and Abramovich. Both of them two turn Chelsea into what they have done. Not John Terry, not Frank Lampard, Mourinho and Abramovich.
I speak to Jack, who's a Chelsea fan. How you doing, Jack?
Hi, mate. You all right?
Yeah, very good. Good to have you on.
Okay, so Jose Mourinho. Yeah, I like him. I definitely like him. He's definitely done a lot of stuff for us. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have won the Premier League and stuff like that. And I respect the hell out of him. But it doesn't mean that I have to agree with his tactics and so on. That he's, as much as I hate Man United, he has ruined that team. He hasn't got rid of the players that are still there, such as Smalling and Phil Jones. What they're still doing there, I have no idea. But there's definitely a very big majority of Chelsea fans that definitely dislike Jose Mourinho more than like him. From the Chelsea fans I've spoken to personally, hell, my housemate's a Chelsea fan, and he absolutely detests him in every single way.
Really?
That he's a miserable person and stuff like that. And I've said, yeah, but you need to respect the fact that he's won us 3 Premier Leagues. Out of the other managers that have it's like 2 of them have won 1 each, and then the rest of them haven't won us anything really, apart from a Champions League and a Europa League and stuff like that. So we have to thank Mourinho for a lot of things, especially getting us our first Premier League title in over 50, 60 years, retaining it the following year, and also then when he came back within his second season, he won it again. There was a lot of dislike for him as soon as the whole doctor situation came out and stuff like that, and especially the players just turned on him and stuff like that. Personally, I like him. I think that he's a good manager. I just think that he's making some really bad decisions at the moment, Man United. And I think that the best thing in Man United is either a change of ownership in the Glazers. There's been talk of apparently the Saudi Crown Prince buying him out, but I'm not believing it at the moment. Or they get rid of Jose Mourinho and they bring in somebody else. Either that or they have to get rid of the whole defence and rebuild. But that isn't going to happen until next season. So, yeah.
Interesting. Are you confident you'll do it tomorrow then?
Yeah, well, I'm very confident. We've got a really good stats and so on with this in the league at the moment, and Kepa is doing absolutely brilliantly for us. He's doing better than De Gea is, that's for sure. 4 clean sheets out of 7 games for Kepa, and only 1 clean sheet for De Gea. I'm calling it a 2-0 win for Chelsea.
Interesting, Jack. Thanks for that. It's a confident Chelsea fan, Darren. I think they've got every right to be confident. I think a defeat for Man United, that's 10 points gap between Chelsea and Man United. If that happens, that's quite startling for Mourinho.
Do you know something? After they came back from that 2-0 down against Newcastle, you'd want him to... I'm sure he thought, I can't believe now we've got this international break. Because that must have lifted everyone around the club. The players, the fans, the manager, the coaching staff, everybody. And now to have this gap, now they've got to start again. And Mourinho to go back to his old club, where he was a legend and achieved so much. It's a nightmare. And Chelsea... have got off to one of the best starts they have. I mean, normally, if they can go to 9 games unbeaten at the start of the season, both times they've done that in the past, they've gone on to win the title, don't you?
Ah, right, okay. Is that your little omen?
Well, for Chelsea, if you're a Chelsea fan, they'll probably look at little omens like that and think, something, we get past Manchester United and we don't lose this game, the belief will be there, but they can actually do it this season, surely.
Keep your calls coming in on Chelsea, Man United, and next we're going to talk about Spurs, who are at West Ham tomorrow afternoon. Spurs may not sign anybody in January. This is TalkSport.